dear Dr. Swamy, dear Jagdish Shetty, and all fellow tweeters, since I am also one of the reasonably active tweeters. My handle is R2000 with one Vinayak sitting there. Some people ask, why are you not putting myself? I thought, originally somebody asked, why are you not in the Facebook? I told my face cannot be in any book. I'm not like, Dr. Swamy as Ramaswamy was telling, he's endowed with that. So, instead of that, I thought I will put Vinayak, which is reasonably representing my that's the only, no other. But in my website, you can go to IIM Bangalore and then find out. All of you are computer savvy. My website, my actual photo is there actually. Slightly, earlier version. There I have not put Vinayak. My students suggested, sir, you put a Priyanka Chopra or something more, hits will be there. Number of hits will be more. And there was a big debate among my students, should it be Karina or should it be Kaif or all this. Then I thought, okay, let it, leave it at peace. And so my introduction to this Shetty has already given. You can go to my website, you can find out, what all the activities I have been doing and various other things. Only one additional information, quiz for all of you. Most of you would have seen 3 Idiots, which was shot in our institute. So I am one of the oldest and the baldest debut in that movie. So you can think about it. When I appear, I come in the credits also, the full name as Mr. Vaidyanathan. Thanks to you. Right? So you can think about that. Okay. Now, don't think about it. It's a MCQ type of thing. Okay. Now, when we are talking about domestic black money, corruption, I'm sure all of you are reasonably knowledgeable now. It's a huge amount of activities going on in this country. Everyone knows. Various types of movements are going on. And according to me, there is no point in, one movement, people telling other movement, At all, we are a very huge country. So, more the merrier. But as long as the primary focus is there in terms of dealing with certain issues, obviously there will be differences between various groups. It's not going to be identical. If it is identical, then why should there be various groups at all? All of them will be part of the single strand. But there is a global dimension to it. This is what I thought I will try to. It's actually a derived one from some of the global activities which are taking place. The first and foremost is, I think we should recognize, earlier Dr. Swamy as well as Swamy were telling that between 2012-2020 there is expected to be significant amount of changes. The first and foremost is we have to internalize, this is something which is very, very important, that axis of global economics has shifted to Asia. This is something very, very critical. This we have been telling, I think he has been writing actually, exhaustively. I have also been talking about it various, but as you all know, that somebody from here tells nobody is going to listen. But now what is happening is, a lot of academicians and the think tanks in US and Europe are telling this. So which means that many of us will start agreeing with this, right? Actually, I was telling Dr. Swamy, nowadays I don't write anything at all. I send it to people abroad and then ask them to send it back. Then it has got tremendous amount of recognition, right? Because normally we all know a plumber from New York will be listened to more carefully than a professor from Bangalore. This axis of economics has shifted is recognized by the think tanks in the West actually, and there are two developments because of the shifting of the axis. One is, you see, I think all of us will agree, the people on the head table are not going to get away very easily. There is a head table. There are 6 or 7 people having dinner. They are not part of it. We were outside the room. Now we have entered into the room. But we are not on the head table. We are still in the lower level. One mat is provided, banana leaf is provided. Have to sit there. This is what the G7 has become G20. You know, you are also there. But we are not on the head table. And by various combination of circumstances, that is, India is not, definitely working to be in the head table. Because Indian leaders are themselves not very clear whether we should be in the head table or not. But people in the main table are not going to leave away easily. This is something which we should recognize. They are not just going to say, you come, we will. Okay. Nobody is going to. So there is a massive tussle going on. There is an important and major tussle going on. That is the second aspect of the situation. You can just down this. So Asia is a major economic power, and we have, in terms of numbers, nothing to beat the both of us. In terms of pure numbers, we are, and as correctly told by Dr. Swamy, 19th and 19th century was that of the colonial power, Europe primarily. 20th primarily, later part at least US took over. And now actually the time has come for the Asia to the East. It's the time of the East actually. And only East has to recognize this. That's the most important. Secondly, generally there is a lot of talk about globalization. You will be surprised to know today only one country is talking about globalization. That is India. Nobody else is talking about globalization. The last 2 Davos conference, this word was banned actually. Last conference, this was never. Earlier there used to be a plenary panel discussion and other. Last conference, one of the Indian industrialists, he didn't know what, he was not properly briefed by his executive assistant or something. He was talking about globalization. He was politely told, this is not the place to talk about. So that's gone actually. Because for the simple reason, original idea of globalization was different. Now what is, it's something like what we call, you try to create a Vinayak and you ended up with a Hanuman. So that type of a, you have the clay going on doing it. So they were thinking that the first era was 70s, where the manufacturing units were primarily shifted out of US to China as well as other parts of Asia. What you may call broadly product market globalization. Going nearer the material centers, going nearer the markets. So it was a huge, and that time people used to argue, what is their, US in the Ford motor car. After all, the engine is assembled in Barcelona, music system is made in Tokyo, tires are made in Budapest, assembled in Shanghai and sold in Kuala Lumpur. So why are you talking about American car? There is nothing called American anymore. There is only world. Then second is 90s financial market. So every market was expected to be opened up. And a large number of developing emerging markets, including India, opened up its financial markets. Flows were. But the third thing which is got accentuated in the 2000s is the labor market. And this is what has put a full stop to this idea of globalization in the West. Because in the labor market, initially everybody told borderless countries and other things. So a lot of people thought, passports need not be there, we can just go around all over the world. Then they were told, nothing doing, passports are minimal. Borderless is only for capital and products, not for human beings. So this is and this created huge amount of what one can call tensions. To the extent today, US is openly talking in terms of having preventive measures in order to have the offshore activities curtailed. Europe is having a lot of preventive measures in terms of preventing the labor market globalization. So the labor market globalization is big, this is one of the asuras which was not originally visualized, which has grown out of this entire thing. And then it's like that Veerabahu, if you remember the story of Sati, and Shiva sent Veerabahu to Daksha's Yajna. It made it into thousands and thousands of heads. And then, so this labor market globalization has put up. So if any of your friends are today talking about globalization or any later, it's all only in India. We alone are still talking about globalization. So the axis has shifted. Second point we want to stress in this is, we are not emerging global power. This is very important. We have to assert everywhere, wherever this topic comes, we are retrieving our position. Till 1820, India and China had 50% of the global GDP. Till 1820, 17. This famous study, which is very fairly known by now, is of Angus Madison for OECD in Oxford, starting with 0 to 1998. Angus Madison last year only died. He is a very renowned economist. He did significant amount of study. So till 1910, India and China had such a huge portion of the global wealth. So first and foremost is, India was very much significantly materialistic even in the earlier period. Somebody tells you a big story, don't believe that Indians are all sitting in caves and inhaling and exhaling. No. They would have been inhaling and exhaling, whatever they were, whatever type of inhaling and exhaling they were doing in caves, they would have been doing it. And like Bill Clinton told, I only inhaled, I never exhaled. That type of that I don't know how it is possible, but anyhow. But that's not the only thing. We were very materialistic, we were very much part of return on investment, we were very much part of global trade, we were very much part of making money. So this is second important point we have to recognize. It's not that, we were never, never. Artha was very much part of our system, and we were. So we are not emerging power. Because everybody, classifies us as emerging power. We are not actually. We should say either we are re-emerging power or we are retrieving where we were. So this, because why, when they say you are emerging power, it makes it appear like as if the last 200 years of Western history is the history. As if West was never always on the top end. It is actually a intermediate stage, what we would call, it's an eclipse for 200 years, and now slowly it is going away. And we are again going to be on that vector. This is the second point we want to stress. You can move. This is the, anybody who wants, the statistics, this is the Madison study, which is showing about it. So we have the three powerful forces which is impacting. One is the globalization we talked about. Second is IT. All of us know about it. IT means in India, of course, it is information technology. Because our neighbor country, it is international terrorism. There's a friend of mine at the Lahore Business School. He always tells, sir, we also export IT, you also export IT. Somehow we are not. I told you, choose the wrong IT. That is the whole point about your exporting IT. So we use the word IT as information. We are all familiar with that. And the telecommunication. Third is the convergence. What is happening? We will just go to these three waves we were talking about. Product market, financial market, as well as labor market. Then you can go to the next one, which tells you in the form of a shift to the next. No, I think I have to go to the next. If something is problematic there. Yeah, go to the next chart. This is before, sorry. The current crisis, current crisis, first is economic. Don't think it is purely an economic crisis. This point we want to stress. It is demographic. We will just show it. It's a massive demographic problem it is faced. And the third is the war between various configuration of things which are all put together broadly as between the three children of Abraham. Right? Among that, the youngest and the middle are fighting the top one is generally funding all the issues only. They are the financiers. The eldest son is a good financier, the other. So this is, see, there are two types of things. One is westernization or Islam. Islam is never going to accept the idea of modernization or westernization. That is one type of a development. For instance, in France, I think most of you would know they have banned the burqa. Last month they have introduced a regulation that you cannot even pray on the streets, and the local authorities are not allowing expansion of mosques. So there is a huge amount of, and if you look at it, Europe is on a corridor. Europe is on a corridor. It could burst in the next 5 years or something. The next major conflict is going to be in Europe. And kindly remember in history, all wars started from Europe. And these Anglo-Saxons are very clever. The local ones, they made it into World War. See, the France and England were fighting Germany. You know, they should fight. That's all matter. They included India, they included Burma, they included Japan, you come. And that is why the famous saying is there of the English leader at that time, Second World War. We will fight the Germans to the last Indian, he told. So, why I am telling you, we have to be very, very alert. Because this global economic crisis, let me repeat, is an Anglo-Saxon crisis. It is not a global crisis. But we are also jumping into that unnecessarily. That, you know, because we are globalizers, oh, there is a crisis, there is a massive crisis, where is the crisis? No, sir, unemployment is increasing there in US. Why are you jumping here? And all the discussion you see, the pink papers and this television, they are all discussing, when is the inflation will come down where? Hey Baba. So it is, we have to be very clear, this is the Western versus Islam. Western or modernization, whatever you call it, basically, that is one. Second is secular Europe versus Islam, which is another serious thing which is going on. And secular Europe is not fighting a mechanism to deal with radical Islam. Right? Because secular Europe, by definition, do not understand religion. Because they are irreligious, you may call it. If you go to Europe, actually, attendance in churches is hardly 10 to 15%, including on Sunday. Most of the churches have become tourist places. You take a bus in Germany, first you will be taken to all the churches, no crowd, nothing else. All the paintings, all the France, everywhere. It's a very fascinating thing. In India, temples are tourist places, but it's crowded. Thousands of people coming in and going out. There it is. I have been in Atlanta for such a long time. It's one of the fascinating places where there is the largest number of churches. All of them are practically empty, except the black churches, which still get some crowd. I am talking about southern part of US. So Europe is much more than the US. US, that way you can call it as relatively more religious compared to Europe. So secular Europe is not able to handle. Now they are telling all that thing, Cameron is telling, Sarkozy is telling, Merkel is telling, multiculturalism has failed. And that is this we have been telling from 50s. How can you have multiculturalism? Because Islam doesn't recognize multicultural. Very simple. You can't have multicultural somebody who doesn't, you can have agriculture, that is okay, but not agriculture. No, you think about it, you see that counter party should agree that there exist multiple cultures, right? So they created ghettos, they created salad type, they wanted to integrate, nothing has happened. The Kurds and the Iraqis for the last 50 years, they are still called guest workers in Germany. And then various methods have been evolved. As usual, the left and the left loonies and the communists are all, they thought they do not, first one will be they who will be hit and eliminated. Like in Bangladesh and Pakistan, the first thing which got hurt was the Communist Party. There is no Communist Party there. Socialists are all thrown out actually. So because obviously Islam is a much more sophisticated homogenizer than the communist. They are homogenizers basically, what one can call sameness and oneness for everybody. So this is the third is the chota part. That is not a very church versus church is practically nothing to do. That Pope is going on weeping every day. Nobody is, you read his nobody is listening to me, Europe is gone, and then some people from here go and tell him our John Dales and that, sir, India is available. What is going on? This is a chota, but everybody is highlighting that, because church has lost its what one can call potentiality or the will to stand up. And all of us know churches got huge amount of problems both in US and Europe. And now the story of this sex abuse is going up to the top now slowly. So that is this is what has actually happened economically. This we have to recognize. If you look at 1990, 51% of the global GDP, purchasing power parity, don't worry about technicalities, the global income, 51% was with the G5 countries, G7, sorry. And 36% was with the emerging market, of which India and China are the largest component. If you look at 2015 forecast, which has already taken place in 2011, is 52% is emerging and 36% is only G7. We are keeping the same G7 in both the places. G7 has become G20, I told you. We have not increased it. So from half of the thing, it has come to 36, and it is expected by 2025 the emerging markets would have something like 65%, right? Which means others will have only 35. And then these people, the G7 is expected to have only 24 to 21. Totally 100, I think all of us will. If you have 70, the other fellows will have. And like Musharraf who always used to say 400%, 400%, I know. What is this 400%? And these fellows used to nod their head. This is our Pranay Roy and other 400%. Because I am very puzzled actually. None of them understood how 400% can be. Musharraf always used to insist on it. But we will take only 100. 100 is the percentage. So this is what is happening. And this is the crisis. Believe me. And why this crisis have come for the global market? There are two fundamental principles. One is there is a 6-letter word called savings. They have forgotten it. And another is there is another 6-letter word called family. That also they have forgotten. These are the two basic things. If you look at the next one, you just show that this is the level of indebtedness as of December last year. January. Now we are 1 year over. All the numbers have gone up phenomenally. Everybody is up to the head indebted in those countries. This is the total debt. Government debt, private debt, bank debt. And then you can see that Canada is 259%, our own Britain. Our own because we are going to own it sooner or later. In Britain, actually, I am telling you, there is an underground movement in Britain working now. They would love to be ruled by India, actually. Okay, come out. I am sure you know who is working on that, right? Japan, 471. See, those numbers are all unbelievable. Now you go further. Of that, debt we have shown, household debt we shown. That's the last, next one. Next one, this is the fundamental problem in the world, actually. Every household is indebted, unbelievable in Europe and US. Average American family they have got 13 credit cards. 13, believe me. And what is called household saving is very, very marginal. 2.5, 1.5, some years it is 2, very marginal. Now their total saving itself is relatively lesser. Some years only it goes to double digit. We have 57 to 36% domestic saving out of 100 rupee of our national income. And mark my word, 75 to 80% of it comes from household savings. And that is what is actually pushing our economic growth. If somebody has to be responsible, somebody asked me in Delhi, finance ministry, who is responsible for our growth? I told an average Indian housewife is responsible for our Kottayam to Kamrup or Agartala to Ahmedabad, we should put statues of housewives. Without a handbag, right? Because if you put without that, people will confuse. An average housewife, he is the one who is. And most important is at no point of time in the last 15 years or last 20 years, FII and FDI put together were more than 7% of our domestic investment. Our domestic investment is mainly due to domestic saving and mainly due to household saving. This is something which we should internalize. So we are not a part of the global crisis and we don't have to dance. Off and on, we are part of the crisis. Because now the problem is, even if you are part of the crisis, if we say nobody is going to give us any money. They want actually money from, in the past you might be getting all of your computer services letters from Nigeria, no? Be careful, you may get from Washington also now. This is what has ground. And unfortunately, all of us know, government at least has the, what you call the printing press. In India, our government of India has got this Nazi printing press. It is also sometimes available to private fellows. That's a different thing. That Telgi also was using it actually. But households do not have access to that. You all agree, right? Nothing like, morning housewife can't go like, operating a mixie or a cooker or something, one small machine and, and then currency note, nothing like that. Households are, so they are drowned. And a substantial number of them have also been given loans. That's what is the so-called subprime, what are called popularly ninja household. No income, no job, no assets. Ninja. That type of households are also given loans by the bank, heroically. And those loans are derivative product and all complications. So you will not go into that. The whole thing is in a mess actually. Second is demographic crisis. If you look at the chart there, the forecast suggests Europe is disappearing. Sorry to tell you. See, 25% of the world population during the First World War was global. World population was Europe. 30%, 25%. Today it is around 10 to 11%. And it is expected to become 2 to 3% in another 30 years. That is, Europe is disappearing from the map of the world. Right? Or Europe will be full of immigrants. Chinese, Indian, Mauritanians, Algerians, Somalians, whatever, all numbers will be there. That is the one possibility, right? Because large number of Chinese are already moved into eastern part of the Europe. If you visit Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan and all those countries, you will find many Chinese are already there. Those countries are already poorly populated. So it is very visible actually. Then you find that. Today Europe actually large amount of brown collar work is done by outsiders only. Brown collar means garbage removal, removing plates from restaurant, picking grapes and other things are all done by people from Sri Lanka or India or Pakistan, and the northern part of Europe and so Europe is very important. And Russia is in acute crisis. In another 2020, which is not very far away, 9 years only, or 8 years if you are already counting 2012, 15% of the current Russia won't be there. I'm not talking about growth rate and everything. Russia is actually declining in terms of human, and they are acutely aware of it. And actually, very interesting, this Putin suggested in Duma, it came in newspapers, not adequately highlighted. He was so, he was pleading that we should do something. He also, in the part of the speech, he told Russian women should perhaps think of marrying Indian men. He told that. So he has so much faith in Indian men is another issue. He told that. And that, it's a very extraordinary type of crisis. In that, the stupid, this brick and everything, worried about it. That's all. Goldman Sachs wanted to collect some money and BRIC, they say, Brazil, Russia. Russia is not there. Well, the small R you have to put, not capital. Just, see what happens sometimes, the acronyms come nice, so you generate one and then, you talk about it and Japan is also facing an acute crisis. Japan is, currently 15% of the Japanese are above 60 years old. And by 2040 or 50, it's going to be 50%. Above 60 years old. What is, in our pension jargon, we call about dependency ratio. How many people are above 60, how many people are in the working population, this can sustain it. What is the major crisis, sir? What is that, Because Japan has got the acute crisis because they don't accept migration. They don't like migration. Why don't they like migration? Because they genuinely think they are superior. The King of Japan has got a project called Project Aging. I am a member of that. Actually, because I am also aging. Maybe they thought that put that fellow. I tell them, you don't accept migration. They have tried all tricks, fourth child will get free education, tax benefit, and the girls are not interested in getting married. If at all they get married, they want to get married after 30. So the possibility of having multiple children is very, very less. Already their thing is 1.4 or something, the reproductive rate. Northern Europe, same thing. Some of them are 0.8 and 2 is sort of 2.1 is the equilibrating reproductive rate. So Japan is, so last meeting I attended in I openly told them, see, if you are not going this way or that way, they have this Narita airport, 18 counters for immigration. Whenever I go, I find only 10 or 12 are open, which I am familiar with. I am after all from India. When there are 10 counters, only 2 will be open. If all the 10 are open, I will have a huge heart problem. So I asked the professor, Takayama, who is of the Totsubashi, who is the head of this project. Why can't you have more? He says, as and when people retire, there is not replacement. Massive crisis they are facing actually. Japan has a civilization. Of course, that professor also says Japan has lost its will to live. So much more, last 20 years, I think all of you know, they are undergoing a huge amount of problem. So I told them, either you have to get more people from outside or you have to have more people produce something. Otherwise, you will come in National Geography and Discovery Channel. What is called legendary species. I explained to them about artists, Dr. Swamy knows much more. His summaries are popular, right? But they are declining, I am telling you. So this demography is destiny. Take my word for it. Whatever. That's why, so much concern about illegal migration from Bangladesh, so much demography is. So Europe is going. US sometimes, for the simple reason, US got this Latin American country, particularly Mexico. From Mexico to US is something like Bangladesh to India, People come like nobody's business. US is also having a huge issue. They debate about it. They say some extreme writers, we have to shoot them as and when they come. Lot of discussion. Last time when I was in Washington, there was a very interesting thing. Somebody told we have to build a wall all around them. I told that is fine. Who will build that wall? Mexicans have to build that wall. White Americans are not going to build anymore. So after building the wall, the Mexicans will be on this side of the wall. See, these are impractical. Like somebody suggested wall in India. It's not possible. Simply not possible. Having a wall to Bangladesh. That's the only thing. There is nothing in between or anything. It can be done. So there is a demographic crisis also, which is very acute. So first is economic crisis. where they have lost out. Demographic crisis, it is affecting all their faces. Combined with these two crises is the one where every one of those countries are now looking for money in tax havens. See, when there is an acute crisis, even in a simple household situation, I'm sure all of you will agree, if you get into such a crisis, you will look under the Imli dabba, you will look under the Torda dabba, you will look under there, another 50 rupee, another 50 rupee, somewhere whether it is available to carry on your activity. Something separate, all the bank accounts will be looked at, some more funds are there somewhere, then suddenly somebody will remember something I have kept in the locker, but I don't know which locker, all that complications will come. Same thing is happening in European Union. That is why in the last, after 2006 actually, it's got very much accentuated. All the tax havens are being looked at closely. By two countries only, let's be very clear. Germany and France. That's okay.
It's okay.
Germany and France are the two countries which are extraordinarily serious about tax havens. UK here and there, because UK itself is a tax haven. That is another issue. UK has got all these territories, all of you maybe know it, chota territories which are all tax havens. Germany and France are extremely serious. They want to lead the fight. Actually, to that extent, what did German do? German actually stole the data. You believe me, German Interior Ministry, something equivalent to our IB, and the German outside, external intelligence agency, combined together, they bribed a small territory adjacent to them called Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein is, people who are familiar with Bangalore, it's something like Jayanagar area. People who are in Chennai, it is something like Tinagar. Tinagar at least is crowded, but Liechtenstein is so small, you have to be careful when you jog in Liechtenstein, because you will come to the other country. So when you jog with your, this Bermuda, you should carry your passport. Very important. So this Liechtenstein is also one of the second country where the king's name, country name, bank name, everything is same. Other one is that Saudi, where the family name, everything is same. Liechtenstein is also same way. So these fellows stole the data. And then the German finance minister told, we have got now the list. And the German announced the list, their list. And they identified, and the first fellow was this Deutsche Post, like our India Post, the chief of that. His name was there in the list of people who have statutory money. And he told all countries come. So Australia was interested, Netherlands was interested, every country went. But one country did not go to collect the news. That is India. I was reading about it and I was puzzled. This was 2008 middle, toward the end of 2008. I was puzzled for only one reason. If something is given free, if Indians are not in the queue, you get worried about it. He says it is free, I am aware, giving it. We have not. So I wrote a letter to that one. Our friend, German finance minister, sir, I am teaching here and everything, and I attached the web page of our institute and all that. He sent me a letter back telling, sorry, we can only give it to sovereign entities. That is our condition. We don't want to give it to individuals. Right. Then some professor in Miami came to me, and some professor in they told us, sir, you can also become a sovereign entity. You can acquire, it appears there is a provision by a small island in the US and declare yourself to be, and then on passport you can issue, Democratic Republic of Professor Vaidyanathan. No, I'm serious, it is possible, you can check with him also. But only one or two issues are there, it is very expensive proposition. But flag I can put my own that Vinayak as that. And the only another issue is also there. One professor's wife told her, what happened, it appeared during high tides, the island will disappear. So every 1 or 2 years your country will not be there. After that your country will be resurrected. This is all messy things. And minimum island itself they were telling something at of the order of some $5 million or something. It's a smaller thing. All that. Anyhow, what I can do on the next one, I wrote articles left and right everywhere. I sent it to all the cabinet ministers, all the opposition people, everything. Finally, there was a pressure applied on the current Home Minister, who is a very close friend of it is something like, say how do you become very close to, Narayana or, Lord Rama? Go on thinking about it. So, every day, every hour he is thinking only about that. How is actually I am told one small agency is created in Home Ministry to what is called monitor for me. Look at, where is he? What has he done?
To the heart.
So this is what is so that way he has become it's like Hanuman and Ram, like continuously he has become so he is a bhakta of actually Swamy Nama. Very legal. He and of course this the truth also. More worried. What we call the tunnel, the elder one. So finally he wrote a letter. Like friend, give me that. But our fellows are troops actually. They wrote a letter, told our ambassador to tell them, no need hurry, you can take your time, sit down. Officially after doing that, they orally told him, don't expedite. But Germans normally are reasonably okay. They send the names. So that is there with the counter. After that, this HSBC, they also, French government, another HSBC, 2 employees actually stole the data. And a lot of you are technically savvy now. It is much better to do this rather than work in an investment bank or because lifelong if you work in a computer company, how much you are going to earn? If you steal the data, I am telling you 50 times more you will of your lifelong earning. The French government told them, and these two people, what you can call the couple, they stole the data from HSBC Geneva branch. Huge amount of data. And presumably it contained 40,000 names. And the French government told, negotiated. These people sold it to them. They obviously the bankers, they have left the bank. The bank has not sacked them or anything. They just left. That's all. Right? Like a lot of these software guys leave, that's all. One fine morning they are not there. Everybody is asking where are they? No sir, I don't know, I might be knowing and break open his locker and find out from his cupboard what is there. Some 2 banana peas or something. He is not going to keep anything. Same way these fellows. So they have also given the name. That is another 2,000 names are there. This is the account of HSBC Geneva branch operator and the Indian names are there. This is 2013. Then the Dutch and Finnish government have recently given names. I do not know what prompted them to give the names. On their own they are given names. So put together, reasonable number of names are there. One reason of course, it's a very lame reason which recently the finance ministry says we don't have enough manpower. So I thought of suggesting to them, employ more girls, matter is closed. Have more girls or outsource. They are talking like this, I am telling you, in the next 3 to 5 years, due to the sustained effort of Dr. Swamy and various others, anywhere between 8 lakh to 10 lakh names are going to come. Oh. 3 to 5 years. My estimate is approximately 8 to 10 lakh names will be. How will they handle them? If they are telling about this 750 names or 1,000 names. These are just excuses. Nobody believes them very seriously that they don't have enough manpower. So there is a huge amount of all type of funds are there. And one thing is very important. This is the most secular activity. All have kept money there. Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Nada, Kerala, Linda, you've got so doing any communal. Fully secular activities. All the fellows are involved. Businessman, bureaucrat. How did it go? You know, the olden days, of course, we had 98% taxation and everything. So that was one of the reasons. 60s I'm talking about, 50s and 60s. Then we had this foreign exchange control. In those days, $250 only was allowed. So, you know, obviously, in business, fellow from here goes to New York, he can't stay even in a platform. So he has to keep some funds abroad, or some friends has to help him or something, right? And if he is the chief of a business house, you know, he can't afford to be seen, you know, loitering and everything. So that is another type of a reason. Mechanics is very simple. Everybody knows under invoicing and over invoicing. When you are exporting, you tend to, you know, say that 10 rupee worth of goods you export, and then you tell that fellow 8 rupee I will put, 2 rupee you keep my investment. Similarly, when you are importing 10 rupee worth of goods, you tell that fellow you put it as 12 rupee and then keep 2 rupees. So mispricing and all that be done. Other is the straightforward commission, like the Bofors for instance. In defense contract or any major contract, you take the cut money. Bofors is not anymore allegation. Kindly remember this. The Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, the highest body of this country on tax matters, has clearly ruled that the bribe was paid to Patrucci and Chadha. The reason was simple and also silly actually. This Vinchada's son who got that money, and a portion of it was taxed by the income tax people as his income, which is a commission on the plate. This fellow took all the way to, you know, tax assessment and commissioner and, you know, income tax, claiming that he should be exempted from paying any tax on this because it is bribe. Maybe in India these funny things can happen. When that income tax appellate tribunal told yes, it was bribe, but in your case the tax authorities are not wrong. They mentioned Patrucci by name. They told this much amount was paid to him. It is there on the record. After that, there is incidentally that is the highest body as far as tax system. There is no appeal. That comes under law ministry. That's another interesting thing. Our Veerappa Moili, who is the law minister, when he was asked immediately, he didn't realize at all. He told we have to, you know, find out why the finance ministry people are talking like this. Somebody has to remind him. People are not even clear how many departments are under that. This is that. So this is the type of, that is the second. Third is this, you know, all these artists, you know, Bollywood or sports people, when they go abroad, they earn a lot of money. Much of it they don't bring it back. So that is another type of one. So all these different you know, reasons, huge amount. And two types we have to, and this money is not small amount. The lowest estimate is $500 billion US. That is 500 billion, which is multiplied with 50 and 25 lakh crores, which is talked about. That is the lowest estimate. Highest estimate is 1.5 trillion US dollars. 1.5 trillion is slightly above our GDP. 1.5 trillion US dollars. This is the gap. And no point in, you know, asking, many people are asking, where do we have the estimate? Obviously, you know, when you say black, it has to have only broad estimate. When you can exactly pinpoint, it is no more. It's a very simple type of a logic. Second is, why was it not, you know, Sardar Patel did not do anything about it, Morarji Bhai did not, all this is all rubbish. This whole thing about tax haven came out after 2006-2007. One is the economic crisis, second is the terror attack. Because after the terror attack, it was established, some portion of funds have been routed through the tax havens. These are the two primary reasons which bordered the. Otherwise, before that, incidentally, these were not called even tax havens. Tax havens are secretive tax jurisdiction. You might be wondering, earlier it was called offshore centers, innovative financial centers. So many names were given for it. And many people are telling also, India, why don't you follow these methods? Of course, there used to be a small you know, government for a short number of months. Charan Singh's government. At that time, there was a proposal mooted by the, you know, current Ambani's father, how to create one in Andaman. Do something. This Charan Singh was a very fascinating Prime Minister of the country. He has never visited South India. even after becoming PM or before PM. He has never seen southern part of the country at all. Right? He has become a soldier. After all, we had also one district leader becoming PM from our state. So he was shown Andaman. So he asked the people, they showed him some, these were not available in those days, PowerPoint and that. They were all transparencies like that. Right. So then he asked, they showed him Andaman. He told, do we not require foreign permission for it? Chaudhary, PM didn't realize that Andaman is part of. He has read somewhere that, these people like Savarkar or all sent that. He thought that, fortunately or unfortunately, he never started this tax amendment. Otherwise, all these countries are very foolish on it. I am telling you. In 1990, 2000, I remember in Europe when I was attending some conferences, finance conference, whenever I begin to talk about tax and others will say, what's your problem? You are not being innovative, you are not attracting, they play economic role, they play a social role, all that. Today, the situation is 65% of the global financial transactions take place through tax loans. That's my word. And 60% of the global trade takes place through tax loans. 73 are there. Total number of tax loans. That is the sort of regionalized or whatever. Earlier, they all used to advertise in the websites. That we are all tax havens and other thing. Something like item numbers, they will tell that we are. Now nobody is, they are all disappeared. They had said, no, every country was, no, we are not tax haven at all. Switzerland also says we are not tax havens. Suddenly you see the whole debate and dialogue has got twisted for the simple reason the French and the Germans are very clear about it. And EU, good number of them want all of these to be closed. And 15 days before IMF, of all the institutions, I was actually shocked. They released a report where they told the high time has come to close down all tax havens. So India has to play a meaningful global role. No need to go on talking about double taxation, this and that. Put it very bluntly, tax havens are red light districts of the global financial architecture. I hope Divina and Chandralekha won't object to this type of see, there is no point in asking the red light, like I tell this Anna group, asking this UPA to pass the Lopal bill. It's like asking a red light district to announce a chastity act. Is it possible? What is it called? It is called computer. I don't know in Bombay. So how can you expect them to do this? Is not possible. Elementary, there is a theory called agency theory in finance, which will tell you very clearly this UPA government or this current group in parliament is not going to pass anything remotely connected with law. Take my word. It's not possible. Agency theory very simply says that people who are impacted by it or affected by it are not going to act against it. Right? So all this will be there, bring in that reservation, bring in this, bring in that, and it will create chaos. So the global situation is such that it's the most opportune time for India to play a meaningful role in global fora instead of generally mumbling and other things. Because our PM unfortunately mumbles, nobody understands what he is, including himself. This is one area. Our PM and Arnab are two extremes. One never stop talking, one never talk. What do you do? And then some of my friends told our PM may be worried because sharp or slapped and somebody threw chappal at him, so many things, and nothing is happening to him also. Nobody has done anything to him. That is another major worry of him. Nobody attempted to slap him, nobody attempted to. I told him, there was one small item came, this bank, it appeared they went, urgently went to encash a check to our PM. So I said, I told sir, everything is okay, but what about your ID? He told, ID what? I am the PM, it's all right, but our regulation, KYC norms say that you must show the ID. He didn't know. No, I don't have, but you see, madam has gone out to New York. And the boy is somewhere very deep, some telling home. How do I get that, Because that is my ID, primary ID is that. That was very sympathetic, but he told, no sir, you see, then is there a way of, something I desperately want this, because I have to send it to that, whatever. And he told, look sir, last week, Baba came, then same problem, Baba doesn't even have a pocket. Then we asked him, then finally, he told, I'll do one thing, I'll prove. And then he pulled his tummy inside, which came through the backside. So we recognized that he is the, nobody can pull his tummy. There is only one man who can go. Then Yuvraj also again same problem. And he took a bat and then we asked him to put a ball and 6 balls we put. And then every ball was a. So you have to. He again stood there sometime and I can't think of anything at all. Then that fellow, yeah, let me take it. Then that told, you are our leader. Nobody else can. Instead of doing such a role, we should take a very, very proactive role in the global forum. I only need the new government at least, not at most, at least have him as the finance minister. Even though the country will demand it should be home to put a stop to all these IT activities of other countries. But the thing is, we have to take a proactive, positive stand in the global forum and tell enough is. But whether we want it or not, I am telling you, because of the pressure from these two countries, sooner or later, something will start flowing to those. They are not going to leave. And same thing with US. US is a very interesting, all of you know about it. US is also applying tremendous pressure on Switzerland. They altered the law in order to get from UBS. Now they are wanting 55,000 names. US is very clear. We can go around messing around the world, but nobody should mess about within us. This is very, that Suchalaya is very clear. Go outside, but don't come and do anything inside. So inside, they are not going to. This is inside here. There is there are a lot of 87,000 companies are registered in one single small state. Delaware is very well known, but that's different. But they are not. So they are also pricing the flag. And so many other type of events will take place. So this, but we must worry about this. The reason is very simple. This is the Gangotri of corruption. This money abroad, which is kept huge amount of money. Because domestic black money is a no confidence against government of India. Illicit money abroad is a no confidence against the society and country of India. So we should distinguish between the two. I don't mind no confidence on the government, but not no confidence on our country. Because we are not just a country formed in 1907. We are an old civilization. This is the second is domestic black money is used for lot of productive activities. Don't believe everybody is like Shukram. It appears he put it inside the pillow and the currency. I don't know how one can sleep on a currency. Not that I can practice it, but I can't. Extremely uneven, right? I don't know. Right? But Shukram did that. Right? But otherwise, domestic black money is actively used in trade, commerce, business and other activities. Actually, in day to day. Because even today, 65% of the credit requirements of our country is met by non-bank financial institutions. 65%, only 35% is met by these commercial banks and commercial bank, non-scheduled bank, all type of banking institutions. Non-bank means cheats, then various type of NBFCs, then money lenders, all these people meet 65% of the phenomenally high interest rate. But that is part of the domestic system. And domestic black money is generated through corruption. Kindly distinguish also in domestic situation between corruption and black money. All corruption implies black money. Black money can be generated without corruption. For the simple reason, in a non-monetized situation, I go to a doctor and then I pay him a cash of 1,000 rupees, right? And he doesn't, he pockets it. That black money has been generated. Right? I have given it for his service actually. It's not with an intention of, but so black money has been generated. There is you can't say did the corrupt activity with the doctor. But doctor has done the non-transparency with the state. So all corruption leads to black money, but black money can also be various estimates are there. Domestic, approximately it is suggested around 30% could be in the form of a black money. That means our economy is much bigger than what is suggested. That is one type of thing which we should keep in the back of the mind, even today. So the one which is abroad, I feel, should be the focus very seriously. And there are, broadly, I would say, you can move to the next one, maybe somewhere. This is before that. Or again, corruption, global level we saw, Indian level, Hassan Ali, I think all of you know about it. It's called Hassan Ali Khan also. I don't know why everybody wants to put one Khan. Right? Khan is there. And the government of India, in an affidavit filed with the Supreme Court, told 76,000 crore is the tax arrears pending from Hassan. The finance ministry in the famous Ramji Palani and others case, they committed that 76,000 crores is the tax arrears from Hassan. You know, at 1/3, you can imagine what should have been the nature of the income. And the government of India also at some other time told 10 billion amount was kept in his name and Tapuria's name, which in a matter of 15 days was moved from one account to several accounts. And these 15-day window was provided deliberately by the Enforcement Directorate. Anyhow, these two are established cases. Now, black money and tax haven, lots of people are now really in the forefront. Advani, as all of you know, had a larger merchant. Ramdev has been, very actively and increasingly. Dr. Swamy has been associated with that for a long time, and I am very glad now. Swamy is going to, he announced, I think you know that February 4th there is a meeting where our Ramdev is also going to do that. Domestic, we have a lot of people. Domestic, Anna is having a massive type of a campaign. With, so many people may have so many type of reservations, but still, he has been able to, what one can call, kindle the idea of the. And of course, he is focusing only on the bill part of it. According to me, bill itself is not going to solve all the issues. There are examples, counter examples one can give. For instance, when the election, the session became election, no new regulation or law was introduced. The existing ones, he could prove that things can be done actually. Same thing, Vinod Rai, when he became CAG in charge, no new law was passed and good utilized. Here, a living example is that, again, existing laws can take the cabinet ministers into the Tihar. They proved that actually. There is no new law was enacted for this one, right? And so there is regulation would be good, but the critical item is, I think, is autonomy for the investigation and prosecution agents. That is the most important aspect. I think we should be stressed. All others are, according to me, not very severe thing. Because we all saw that so many type of examples one can go on telling how these investigating and prosecuting agencies have been misused, misutilized. Particularly in the case of the two major, BSP and SP, it has been very very apparent in the last 6 or 7 years. Whenever the button is pressed this side, then they will say something. Then the prosecutor in the court says there is not much evidence that they have disproportionate attacks. And the same prosecutor will go and say after some time, we are investigating and we have to give it to you in a seal. Because the whole thing has become tamasha. And CBI has unfortunately lost a substantial amount of its credibility. In spite of the fact there are a good number of what one can call efficient officers still there, but it has been used. Then foreign black money we have been arguing, of course for the terminology we have used, not the problem. There is something called pure tax evasion, that we call it as vegetarian black money. And I am a vegetarian. Incidentally, that pure tax evasion money is also kept by people who are very strict vegetarians. You don't take onion, you don't take garlic, I don't want to identify. Right? So, that is also there. Right? That is purely, but there are other, like terror, drug trafficking, and we need to distinguish between the two again. We should not club them together. The terror, drug trafficking related, what I call the non-veg, you have to treat them differently than the pure. That first one would come actually. First one more or less would, because one thing all of you know the return in India is so attractive compared to any other place in the world. So the funds are in such a market again. Markets are not in such a fund. There is no need for some fellows from India, here also Karnataka also went, central government, what do you call it, selling India. There is no need to do that. But the selling India, I am also worried sometimes, because one day I opened the Deccan Herald in Bangalore, and the headline would be that Karnataka has been sold away. There is no discount, deep discount sales, sir. We have sold Karnataka. Why did you sell Karnataka, sir? It's a good state. No, sir, we sold it. You see the same price at which Vishwesharaya assessed for Mysore. We have not deviated from that. Same price, sir. That price only we. And Andhra also same price, sir. And what happened? Chhattisgarh, no, we thought we will give it as a bonus. So very risky thing actually. These fellows, when they say sell India and other thing, I get very nervous actually, because so there is no need for that actually. Global funds are desperately in search of markets. As I told you, the life expectancy is significantly increasing in Europe and Japan. People are living up to 84, 85. In our financial jargon, unfortunately, it is called longevity risk. If you live long also, it is considered risk by the pension provider. Because the insurance fellow don't want you to die. Pension fellow want you to die next day. If you are given by the same agency, one general manager praying this fellow should die, another general manager praying this fellow should not. And you are all mathematically very inclined. You can find out optimally when to So the pension, huge crisis in pension in Europe and US. That's what they call it, social security crisis. Funded is more crisis because the population is not increasing from below. That means adequate contributions are not getting into the fund. It's not something very. So huge amount of problem in the European and US situation, making the fund to look at alternative avenues where good returns can be obtained. Now, what is the new paradigm? Our advantage is this, sir. We are by and large so far family-centric culture. I think it is required for us to seriously think in terms of protecting and preserving it. We are family-centric culture because there huge amount of problems have arisen due to the loss of the family units. Actually, they call about single parent. Actually, single parent family is a misnomer. It is all mostly single woman parent families. Single man parent families are one man managing 2 kids and 3 kids, most of them on state support. It is not easy for them to sustain it actually. They are saving oriented rather than consumption driven. So far we are actually. Community oriented, so far we are. Our saving is very large. One of the reasons is because we have to do all our samskaras. Everybody, relatives, death, that type of a law. We have to go and give some money, and actually you will be surprised. The poorer you are in the hierarchy, the more you actually participate in it. Richer fellows don't do that. They will make a phone call, oh sorry, sir. Or SMS. Poor fellow will take a bus, go there, give sorry, give this, give that. And, particularly death, they are much more active participants. And it requires a lot of spending. Right? And nobody is going to give you loan for that charity. You have to spend. Second is education of kids. Today in India, the LKG and UKG is more expensive than MBA. I don't know. Many of you will know. If you are trying to put your son or daughter into a good school, it's not easy. People are reading. My neighbor who is very old, he is reading books. Interview for him because of his grandson's thing. He is also going to be interview MCQ and other years to remember and that requires health reason. We don't have a general all-purpose health services. So education, health, your own old age. Remember, 90% of India is self-employed. 90. In US, 7% is self-employed. There is no comparison at all. All these 90% have to generate their own saving to take care of themselves in the old age. So old age, health, education and samskaras. These are the four which makes our saving rate relatively very high. That is so we have tremendous amount of opportunities. As it is told, every pothole has got you have to look upon every pothole as a opportunity. Right? My neighbor, is a general manager. He thought it is a great opportunity. He fell down and broke his limbs. And then when he went to hospital, it was told he is pre-existing. So you won't get the pothole is pre-existing, not the insurance company told it is pre-existing. Last we will see which is the or the previous one. This is the one. Our advantage, what Dr. Swamy was mentioning, is the culture. This is the tremendous amount of opportunity. It is a major social capital for us actually. Right? So our traditions are conflict avoidance. We don't talk of conflict resolution because we don't generate conflict. We avoid conflict. Harmony is we never talk about my way or highway. Never. All ways are okay. So this diversity is actually the cause for friction or irritation by the homogenizing cultures. They can never understand our type. Ours is not this multicultural type of diversity. Ours is acceptance based. It is not like you live, we accept it. We try to harmonize. And we have of course the advantage of cyclical. We don't treat the world linear. Huge amount of cycles, cosmic cycles, yuga cycles, individual birth cycles. So many things are intertwined in our genetic structure, whether we like it or not. So our cyclical world view is different than linear. Acceptance, harmony, and it is not just tolerance. We say we are tolerant. We are not tolerant. Don't misuse the word. That is the European word, tolerant. We accept actually. That is what is our strength is also our weakness. Because we sometimes accept what ought not to be accepted. Right? We do that. Right? And this is the famous one. It comes in Dr. Swamy's book also. Who she is telling in the speech at Harvard about peaceful culture borrowing from India by the Chinese people. He says without a single bullet shot, India has ruled China for centuries. And kindly note, they treat us as elder brothers. This is very important. They are not elder brothers. We are elder brothers. Whenever I go to China, many of them say that we have learned architecture from you, we have learned music from you, we have learned medicine from you. All, 14 shiploads were taken away by Shanti Sheikh when he went to Taiwan. If you go to Taiwan, if you visit their main library, you must do it. If at all you are in that part of the world, you will find comprehensive amount of India's cultural heritage. The Sanskrit, Pali, Prakrit, all of them are kept in glass cases. And you know, Shanghai and Hunsun is the place where there is a statue for Kalidasa in China. India there is no statue for Kalidasa. It will be communal. China has got because they feel told me that he is one of the greatest poet ever produced in the world, actually. So that is so they are phenomenally influenced by us, actually. Forget about the intermediate communist thing. So we must take steps to invade China. Invade means not with our army. Millions and millions of Bhagavad Gita, Puranas and other literature translated into Chinese should be distributed all over China. That will create much more revolution. Because the underground church is very active in China. Underground church is the biggest threat. I tell you, my colleague, which is the four corners of the room, with whom I am working in the Shanghai University, we have a joint project. Her father was a Politburo. She says even the senior leaders in China are very concerned about this underground church. He says, you don't understand. We eagerly want India to, and some of you may be knowing, when Sri Sri went there, he has set up a very large sector. They are extraordinarily enthusiastic. So it is something which we have to. So heterogeneity is the ethos. So we don't want the colonialism or homogenization. And last but not the least, we should leave with this thought. I am coming out with the book, hopefully by next year, that the feminine economics, there is a huge issue in terms of masculine and the Asian economy, culture, governance is essentially feminine. All the gods which give something to us are feminine. Kindly remember that. You want to learn, you have to. You can't pray to Shiv. Shiv will give you only this. Because pray to Vishnu, I will get to maximum pongal in that. Male gods are all hopeless. Sorry. If you want education, you have to go there. If you want to wage war, if you want to be combative, you have to go to woman war. And if you want wealth. So basically we are a feminine economy.
So Ganesha is there.
Ganesha is there. Ganesha is in the middle. So his head was one time. So plenty of. So we must think of a globalization. We can easily talk about it to the world at large also. With the human face, with the feminine aspect of it as the primordial, centric actually. This is what I thought we will. So let us bring back the wealth of India kept abroad. Right? And then within the country there is a huge amount of wealth, don't mind about it, right? Reserve Bank of India always used to tell me 18,000 tons our stock of gold. I told how it is possible. 1/3 of gold every year we have been buying for the last, from 1915. Why 1915 onwards statistics is available, that's all. 1/3 of the world's gold output we have been buying. 50%. Every year, year after year, including this year. This year already we have bought nearly 1,000 tons. All imported. 25,000 at 10 grams, 2,50,000 crores we have spent on it. Slightly more than this Raja's number. So, entire stock market has generated only 65,000 crores. What are we talking? So 18,000 I told them it is not possible. They used to argue. After this Trivandrum, they have stopped You ask today RBI what is our stock of gold? No sir, no comments. Because that is not at value. It is not going to be valued also. Not easy. Pre-Napoleonic coins and other things are there.
Because of Prashna, even the Supreme Court.
Yeah. And it's a stupid. I wrote an email to them with all, maybe fortunately they don't think I am big enough to be taken for contempt of court. I told them, why are you doing all these things? So many other things have to be done. These things should be what they are. I remember in the 80s, all the assignment of gold came in India. All these big companies came, they told you will assign your gold. Take it 22 carat or 14. So my grandmother's younger sister, one of the wisest economists ever produced in my part of the family. We all went to her and we were all college and very active, modernized and we told her, Ajit, your banking and other things. He told, what will happen? No, you will find out. What is that? Carrot. He told, you are pagal or what? Who should I find out? At this age, after 40 years of marriage, suddenly my husband will say, my father has cheated him. Very, very sensible situation. He told, I have got these, I think it is 22, let it be. And I have some great granddaughter of mine want to take it to shop and mortgage it, and that time they find it, that's different. Why should I? There are a lot of things in life which should be left peacefully in its own. This temple thing is another one. It's a great, 1.2 crore every month they are spending. With all those gun-wielding fellows who are standing there stupidly, who should be standing to protect our borders or who should be inside, Lahore. These gun-wielding fellows, why are they in Bhadram Swamy temple? They should be in Karachi. We should create more there. See, it's not a joke, and eternally you have to do it, not this month or next month. Are you getting the huge amount of foolishness we have got ourselves into this whole thing by trying to write up something which ought not to be touched even. Anyhow, after that, the stock of gold is not talked. Nobody talks, because not only gold, it is incidentally the Swiss bankers were telling me it is not the bonds or shares or cash, it is huge amount of rubies, pearls and other things of ours are in their lockers. Nobody talks about it. So much amount of our pearls, rubies and diamonds and one of them was telling it about there is a chaku of this size, completely diamond studded gold. He says that is inside there of Indian people. So it's not just these what one can call this double taxation, nothing. Where will this chaku will come in double taxation? There is also prospective chaku will come, not retrospective. So we, that's not extraordinarily wealthy country we are. I am telling you seriously, in terms of flora, fauna, and in terms of all our, what one can call, material wealth, right? And of course, is not last but not the least, such a beautiful range of girls and women we have got in our country. Right? So there is nothing but these funds which are lying abroad ours. Let's be very clear about it. We ought to get it. We have to benefit of it. That is the most important type of thing, for which we require significant amount of effort, and we can do it actually. Domestic portion, my own theory is, do not worry about it so much. What will happen when middle class becomes larger and larger? We are in a growth phase. We have been growing around 8.5, 9, nearly last 10 years. Many of you might or might not have seen a movie called McInnes Gold. We are exactly in that situation today in India. Right? All your Bellary and other thing is part of McInnes Gold. It's a huge. Everyone wants to be into this. Everyone wants to put a hand into the pot. There is no doubt about it. But when the middle class becomes relatively very large, things will even out. Because people will realize there has to be some amount of regulatory framework. It's like a traffic thing, beyond a point when the jam takes place, individual fellows get down from their cars and go on try to organize it, not the cops. You will find good Samaritans suddenly, all. So same way in the larger middle class. Second is this family which has been ruling the country for so many years. They have decimated every organs of regulations and control. This is another thing. They have decapacitated and decimated every organs. You take this CBI, you take this IB, you take this everywhere they have. It's a very sad state of affairs. All the institutions have been damaged. We have good people. So whatever little comes out of this thing is in spite of not due. Every organ, we feel so, very sad about it. But I am sure these different organs, once they are given appropriate amount of, we have tremendous amount of capable civil servants. She will agree with me actually. But again, there is a method of emasculating these areas. So we have to come out of this then the domestic level of corruption would significantly come down. It will never be eliminated, I can tell you that much. It can never be, but it will significantly come down. When you bring the funds from abroad, it will be a tremendous message to domestic groups that this is not acceptable. And this group, and like this there are 42,000, number is increasing every time, right? This group is extraordinarily capable and have a sense of purpose. So if this could be multiplied, there is a tremendous amount of impact we can create on society. For the simple reason that we carry on our shoulder a huge legacy of thousands and thousands of years. That is the weightage which is imposed on our shoulder, whether we like it or not. That legacy we have to live up to it. We are not some chota-mota country which came 15 years before or 100 years before. We have a huge legacy. If we have to live up to that legacy, we have to quickly change. I am very confident it has to change. Because we accept in the cyclical process of things, like he was mentioning about Krishna's mention about that he will be available. I am very, very confident it will change. And all of you, I sincerely wish the best to fight this battle together. In a long run out it will be. But the process of fighting itself will give us joy, I can tell you that much. Don't worry that exactly this is what will happen and that is what. And there is always doctor to give us the correct guidance and give enthusiasm to all of us. So I should profusely thank him, and I should pray to God to give him double the existing life so that he is able to